Operations. She's a program manager at Reviving the Islamic Sisterhood. She's on the board for Break the Silence Minnesota. She's a fellow at American Muslim Civic Leadership Institute. She also served as an organizer on Senator Al Franken's campaign. She is very passionate about intersectional politics, mentoring, and spending time with her nieces. And she is going to tell us how she's using her power this year as a woman. She's also a makeup artist. Look at that face.
I am. We'll hit me up for bookings. My name is Asma. Sorry, I gotta correct you. It's Asma. And I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for having me. So how I'm using my power as a woman today is I do a lot of challenging. So I'm just gonna share a quick story with you. So the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the person I look up to the very most. Right? And you would think like you're at a feminist event where you talk about men. Well, he is the person that I look up to the very most because what he did is he started when he first started receiving revelations, or even before, he would seclude himself and go to a cave in Saudi Arabia. It's called the Cave Hira. And during that time, he would just spend like hours and hours, days, weeks alone. So doing a lot of what Judy said she's doing, is like not seeing anybody, right? And during that time, he got to reflect on himself. And sometimes that means healing, right? So one thing I'm doing this year is giving myself time to heal. I think we live in a culture and society that says taking vacation ain't that cool. Like it's cool if you can, but if you're doing, if you're taking care of yourself too much, like you're selfish. But I think it's important for us as women to be taking time to ourselves to say, it's okay. And it's actually good for you. So for me, this is the year of saying hell no to a lot of things. I'm done with like not getting paid to speak. I'm done with people telling me that I need to show up for certain things. I'm gonna say no to my boss over here. If I'm having a really bad day, I don't want to get out of bed. I'm gonna be like, can't, sorry. It really is important for us to be able to say no as a practice in healing because oppressors force you into doing specific things. I'm a survivor of sexual violence. My choice to say no is really important to me. So, after the Prophet ﷺ, peace be upon him, spent time in the Cave Hira, he actually went to his wife and he told her what was going on. And then he went to his best friends and his father-in-law and his community, and he shared with them some of the things he was learning. And then he went to the broader public and started, sharing his message. So that's what I want to do. I can't do what I do. I'm going to be a hypocrite if I am not practicing what I preach, right? So if I'm not taking care of myself, I can't tell my students, my nieces, my mentors that they should be taking care of themselves. If I'm not challenging people in authority, I can't tell my students that they need to do the same. I have a background in education, so that's why I'm talking about my students. But I can't do that unless I'm doing it for myself. So I'm going to keep challenging. I'm going to challenge people to see my worth the way I do. My worth isn't calculated by how many speeches I give or how much I get paid. It is self-calculated. And I think as a woman of color, as a brown Muslim woman, I'm constantly told that my worth is diminished because I choose to wear the hijab. I'm told that my worth is diminished because my body was violated by a man who had no right to do so. And I think it's so important for us to realize that challenging those notions and actually understanding that we are in charge of how we see our worth, that is revolutionary. So what I hope to do this year is start a revolution against myself and say, hell yes, you're worthy, and hell no, you don't gotta do all that, right? And beyond that, bring this to the people I love. And then bring it to the amazing, incredible Muslim women, the leaders that I work with. With Reviving the Islamic Sisterhood for Empowerment, I work to amplify the voices and power of Muslim women, right? The everyday Muslim woman needs to be reminded that people that look like her belong in every position of power. And until we start seeing that, I can't feel comfortable. Until we start that revolution, until we begin that kind of spiritual revolution, we can't have that. So this is my year of revolution, of challenging, of saying no, and that is where I will find my power. Thank you.